Okay. A little better. For those of you who weren't here last week, because you're seniors and you're horrible people and you switch classes and change schedules and everything, you did not really miss my introduction. So we'll do that a little bit now. Get into a couple things on the syllabus we didn't really go over, but that'll be short and sweet. Okay. This is a quote I share at the beginning of every semester in class because this is a class where we get to interact, right? And talk, have dialogue. So if I ask a question, even though I want you to answer, you can take a minute and think about it, right? You don't just have to have an answer every time. So listen to understand, not to respond. That's a useful skill in life, and so it's something that I always bring up. Okay, so who am I? I am a championship-winning barbecue pitmaster. Goddamn right. Okay? Those are things I like to do. I like to brew beer when I have time, which I don't have a lot of time for. I also like to barbecue. This is really bad if I do this right before lunch. Those are burnt ends, pork belly burnt ends on the end. Secret, you gotta have a little red pepper flakes. You gotta have a little heat in there, okay? And brisket and Boston butt, man. I'll cook it all. Love the barbecue. I'm raising world champions because Daddy wants a gold medal, so I can retire early. All right? My oldest actually won for the South State of Texas, her age and division this past year, which is pretty badass. They're good athletes. Why am I qualified to instruct this course? If you have never had an instructor or professor tell you who they are, why they're qualified, you should probably question who the hell they are. Some of you just show up and sit in class, and then somebody shows up at the front of class, starts talking, right? You're like, okay, well, I guess they're in charge. You have no idea, right? Should ask them, excuse me, what are your credentials? I got my undergrad at Oregon State University, best baseball team in the country. 3 national championships. How many does A&M have? Keelan knows. Every semester, right? Our last one was in 2018. We beat Arkansas. It was glorious. Okay? Not very good at football, so Aggies win. Okay? I got my master's at University of Florida while I was working there, and I got my PhD here at A&M. Okay? I finished my PhD in 2018. In that time, I transitioned to teach full-time as a professor. I teach at Sam Houston also, and then I, of course, teach here in the Corps. Teaching 9 classes this semester, which is entirely too many. All right, here we are. Before I started doing that, I came here and worked in development and the extension service. Anybody know what extension is? Yeah? TEKS is, yes, okay. So engineers, heard of TEKS? Okay, that started because extension is actually rooted in agriculture. Texas A&M is a land-grant university. There's 3 things every land-grant does: teach, research, and extension. Extension, the reason it's rooted in ag is because we used to take the research on campus and get it out to the community. Was anybody in 4-H? Nobody? One? Keelan? Okay. 4-H is extension, okay, on the youth development side, right? And then I raised money for A&M also. Worked in the private sector before I started doing all that. I also serve part-time in the Air Force. I'm in the Texas Air National Guard. We work in counter-drug operations. We're watching you, okay, all the time. All right? So all of that stuff plays in the factor of me teaching the SOMS class, okay? My teaching style, interactive. This is not a lecture, right? This is an interactive course. I need you to participate. If I lecture, it's really boring for all of us, all right? So please engage, participate, okay? This is an interactive course. We'll have a lot of discussions, right? Be a part of it. I say okay entirely too much. I'm trying to break that habit, so please help me. Okay? Has anybody ever done Toastmasters? Have you? Did they do the squeak toy? You say or they give somebody a squeak toy, and they squeak it every time. It's a great way to break a habit if you're working on your public speaking. Right before I was getting ready to present to a bunch of ag economists here at A&M, one of them is a big deal. He's written several textbooks. He works on the Farm Bill. He goes to D.C., right? And he's like no joke here at A&M. Any ag eco majors? Yeah? You know Professor Outlaw? Dr. Outlaw? Yeah, he's like a big deal, right? He will mess you up. He's real tall. Okay? So hit me on top of the head. Right before I'm about to present, okay, he leans forward and whispers and says, "Try not to suck." Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Okay, so I try not to suck. Come to class, all right? Participate, think for yourself, all that good stuff. We live in eCampus. We're only here 50 minutes a week. Okay, so we're going to do stuff in eCampus. That's where your assignments and discussion posts and all that stuff will be. This week's discussion post is already up. Okay, due Monday. We'll get in on the end. Be original. Be outspoken. I don't care if you disagree. I don't care if you disagree with me. That's fine. I encourage it. I don't care if you disagree with each other. Just be respectful in how we do it. Okay? And don't have your phones out unless we're using them for something. Sound good? Okay. I had my cell phone number on here, but I'm putting this on YouTube, and that's probably not a great idea. On the syllabus, you will find my cell phone number, all right? And email. Email works great. I don't mind if you guys text me. I know that's pretty common, whatever, but a couple things with that. Be sure to tell me who the hell you are and what class it is, because I give my cell phone number out to all students. And is everyone over 21? Yep. All right, well, if you see me, just shake me, come say hello, and I'll buy a beer. But you're not going to order beer. Hopefully that's not the right way. One thing with assignments, don't expect me to bail you out at the last minute. If it's a quick question, fine, I will try to answer it. But if you text me and it's like 11 at night, guess what? My old ass is asleep or doing something else. Okay? So I was off camera for that, I hope. All right. So feel free to do that. Okay? Just don't expect me to respond if it's late or if it's in the weekend. Okay. Quickly on the syllabus. We covered 0 credit hour and attendance, all that good stuff. Here is grading. Okay? 50 points in class. Stuff we do in class. 50 points for participation. That is not just sitting here. There's a rubric on the syllabus. You can look at it. Okay, I break down the 50 points. If you just show up, that's not enough. All right? Engage. Be a part of it. Okay? Contribute. That's a quarter of your grade. The eCampus discussions, and then the final. We'll actually more than likely do a paper instead of the ILDP, but we'll get into that as the semester goes on, right? But that's another 50 points. Questions about the grading? If you get a D or an F, you're out of the core. All right, we covered that last week, but unfortunately, every semester, there's 1 or 2 students, and it sucks, okay? So don't screw up. Deal? Okay, unless you're trying to leave the core. In which case, don't screw up either. Right? That last line says I get to do whatever I want, which is awesome. Right? Okay. So, covered that along the classroom. For every hour of class, how many hours are you supposed to study?
3 hours.
1 to 3, right? You gonna do 3 hours for SOMS? Way to be honest. Appreciate that. Yeah, probably not. I'm not gonna kill you guys, right? But I do expect effort in what I ask. I don't ask a lot. Do I, Keelan? Then give me effort. Okay? Please give me effort. We can actually tell how long you've been in eCampus when you log in. All right? Is that creepy? Some of your papers, if you didn't know this, if you submit papers, I think eCampus does this, but I know it, Sam and Blackboard, they can actually tell how long we've looked at their paper. So if you ever submitted like a 5 or 10 page paper and you can tell the instructor was in there for like 10 seconds and gave you a grade, it's pretty hilarious. You can call them on it. Like, why'd you give me a C? You didn't even read it. You say, okay? All right, we're almost done. Easiest part of life, right? Just wait, Freddie, just wait. I know you work hard, just wait, brother. I'm gonna call you in a few years. All right, and be like, God, I wish I was back in college. Okay? Maybe not financially, but lifestyle-wise, you're gonna miss it, right? Here's where you guys are. You're almost there. You're looking good, man. Looking good. Then it's all downhill. Then you're a fish in life. You have to start over. It sucks. No one cares. I got boots. No one cares. All right? Just picking on you guys. Please take that note card and answer these questions. Please write legibly so that I can actually read it. Literally, seniors in college don't know how to bring a pen or a pencil to class. It says right there in the syllabus. Bring something right with you. It's not hard. Okay, solve the problem. Go ahead, guys. I'd put music on, but my phone's being used. If you don't have anything to write with, you can do it at the end or next time. If you've been to a lot of states, you can like guesstimate. Doesn't have to be perfect. Can't see, you can move closer. All set? Okay, you got it finished up as we keep going. I can bring it back up at the end too if you need more time. All right. What'd you learn in SOMS so far, junior year? Pop quiz time.
We do the flip side book and.
Yeah, good. Okay, flip side. Yep, good.
Learn how to complete the ILDP.
Okay, ILDP. Good. What else?
Learn how your personal leadership style.
Okay, good. I hope so.
Sorry.
What's up, Tyler?
How to overcome your constraints.
Oh man, you guys are on fire. Okay, what else? We got like 4 or 5 things whole year. Okay, what else? Anything else? Yes, sir.
I learned that we say it depends a lot.
Yeah, you definitely do that. Okay, what else? Glad you showed up, Tyler. Do you have the ability to change?
Yes. To a certain extent.
Yeah, okay, sure. If you want to, right? How many of you got your weaknesses and you're like, nah, I'm good? Were you? Yeah. Why? What were they? Do you remember?
Pretty much related to being lazy.
Lazy? Okay. And you're good with that?
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not contracting. I'm good. Okay. Does anybody know Aristotle Terzius? He's a junior. He was a bulletproof iceberg, and he was good with that. He's like, yeah, I'm just a bulldozer. I'm good. Okay? Didn't even bother him, right? But it was good that he knew that, right? Even if you didn't necessarily agree with your strengths or think how bad they were, hopefully you at least recognize you are not perfect, right? Because none of us are. Fair enough, okay? And we told you pretty good. What's the problem with things like Clifton Strengths and Myers-Briggs? What's the one major flaw? There's a couple. What do you got, Todd?
Well, Myers-Briggs is considered unreliable by field psychology.
Okay, unreliable. Well, why? What's the problem with it? There's one real big glaring problem. Sure, okay, that's fine.
I would say they can be a bit generic, I suppose.
Generic, yeah, you're on the right track.
It's either you're this or you're that. There's no in between.
Kinda, yeah. What you got, Butters?
You're evaluating yourself, which is bias.
Could be, right? Evaluating yourself. Yeah, that can definitely be a flaw. What else? Yeah, you're right. There's a big, what does it not tell you? What you suck at. You take Myers-Briggs and like, yeah, I'm awesome. Clifton Strengths, look at me. Okay. Does anybody have Woo? Remember that one? Winning others over? Really? My lazy guy? Yeah, Brandon does. Hell yeah, he does. Okay. Woo stands for winning others over. The reason I bring that one up is actually pretty rare. Right? You might even be an outgoing person, but Woo doesn't happen very often. And I have a friend who's very much an introvert who has Woo. Right? He likes to win people over, but just not in a big crowd. Okay? So that's good. It tells you what you're good at, right? It does not tell you what you suck at. Right? It takes your top strengths out of like 34. You get to the bottom of the list, not good. If you had me, we did an exercise where I took, who had empathy? We have empathy? Did you, Madeline? Okay, good. Who did not have empathy? Perfect. Brendan, I would love to have you in that class because what I did was I took somebody with empathy and somebody without, took them outside and said, okay, we're going to come into class and tell Freddie he has cancer. And the people without empathy, Brandon would have walked right in and said, Freddie, you have cancer. I'm sorry, that sucks. Right? More or less. My empathetic people were like, look, Freddie, man, got some tough news. I want you to know I got your back. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to support you. Like, obviously, just entirely different personality traits that play into those things. Okay? Which is fine. All right? That's okay. If you're not an empathetic person, that's okay. Maybe don't be the one who delivers bad news. Not a bad thing to know, right? Have somebody do it for you. Okay? Cool. All right. Pop quiz. Just last semester, some of you were in my class. What'd you learn?
Are we at 41 or 42?
41. This is 42.
Why is the numbering system
I have no idea. Can't answer that question. It's classified.
Triple Crown leadership.
Triple Crown, okay. Read a book, some of you. Keelan.
right versus right decisions?
A little bit, yeah. We got into right versus right. We touched on that. We're actually going to do that next week. Don't miss next week. Yes, sir.
Steel and velvet leadership.
Okay, good. Copying his answer right out of the book. Yep, good. That's good. I'm just picking on you. Keelan.
Some people from grade school over and do kind of about different leadership styles and how everyone kind of leads differently.
Yeah, good. Okay, absolutely. Everyone leads differently, right? I brought some officers in from my base. Hopefully, you got at least some variation of this. All right? Hopefully, you got a variation of developing your own leadership style. We're trying to figure out you. That's why we work on your strengths. That's why we work on your weaknesses. We're trying to figure out what your leadership style is. Okay? So what the heck is next? What are we going to do? Huh?
Why is the book that we learned?
Yeah, I hope so. Yep. What else? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, we're going to talk about ethics. What else? What about ethics?
Personal ethics.
Your personal ethics. Yep, good. Kellen? Man, just raise your hand right after somebody answers. You say, I was going to say that. Just picking on you, man. I believe you. Okay. Here's where we're getting into. These are more, I won't say textbook answers, but this is really what we're going to get into. Okay, we'll break it down a little bit. The ethical dimensions of leadership in complex situations. This is right versus right. This is the hard stuff, all right, that we'll get into. Then the different philosophies. You brought up your own ethics, okay? Are they the same as Keelan's? Why? You both wearing the same uniform.
Different people.
Different people. Absolutely, right? You're going to work for the same organization. You're going to work with people who are entirely different than you. Okay? So we'll deal with that, all right? Can't wait till you guys go to OCS. Brendan, did you go to OCS last summer? You didn't split it up yet? Okay. You're going to learn about, even Marines, different leadership style. It's going to be glorious. Okay? I can't wait. Excited for you guys. Personal philosophy for decision making. Again, if you had my class, Freddie, we talked about dropping the ice cream cone on the ground, right? Okay? You're walking along. Freddie was going to eat it. You're walking along, you're almost done on a hot day in Texas, right? You're eating an ice cream cone, and it's dripping all down your arm. It's getting all sticky and gross, right? And you're done with it, and there's no garbage around. You just throw it on the ground under a bush. Is that okay?
We talked about throwing away the cone or the wrapper.
Throw away the cone. 100% biodegradable.
What?
Yeah.
Cone? You don't get that?
That's exactly what my man Freddie said. Eat the cone, okay? But let's say you didn't, all right? It's all gross, you throw it under a bush. Is that bad?
It's like throwing away a banana.
No? Maybe, right? Is it bad? No, a couple ants will eat it. All right, then we got a big ant mound, right? Then some kid comes along, Keelan comes along. He's not very big, and he trips and falls in the ant mound. And his ant bites all over his face. All because you didn't eat your ice cream cone. Was that bad?
No.
It depends. What if your mom saw you throw the ice cream cone down? And there was the garbage right over there. Now what? What'd your mom say?
Well, I better pick that up before I pull my belt off.
That, okay, it might whoop your ass. What if they said, you know what, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Is that the worst? That's the worst. And you know what's great as a parent when you figure that out? You can yell at them and you can knife hand, right, with your kids, make them do push-ups. It's great. It's just like fish, okay? But it's way worse when you get into the mind games, okay? And when it's really good, okay? We're going to work on that. Is leadership manipulation? True or false? True, 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 true.
Not true leadership.
Whoa! What does that mean? What do you mean?
Like, I say faux leadership, maybe you can think of leadership as manipulation.
Faux leadership like Korean food?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, yeah, so fake leadership.
Yeah, so you can influence others by manipulating them, but you're not truly pushing them as a good leader. That's what I think.
Okay, here's a good point. Is that good leadership?
You also have to define what manipulation is, because like manipulating a whole bunch of suckers to achieve the goal, that's one thing. But manipulating a whole bunch of suckers to get better so that they can achieve the goal, that's more ethical leadership.
It's okay to manipulate them if you're doing it for the betterment of them.
Well, but it just depends on how you define manipulation. It's not
True
it's not
leadership is
okay or not
inspiration.
okay to manipulate.
Okay, say it again, Kellen. Hold on. Don't lose your thoughts. You guys are on the right track. I like where we're going. Say it again.
True leadership is inspirational.
Inspirational. Okay, so let's change the term. Persuasion. Is that different? Is it? Why? Nominally. Why? What's the difference?
Motivation.
Maybe.
Do you think you're doing yourself?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think that, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Do you think that they're kind of like getting the motivation for themselves to do it instead of you motivating them to do it kind of thing?
Okay. Lutz, do you have something?
Earlier I was saying whether or not manipulation is not due to the person.
Okay, so it just depends on the audience?
Yeah.
So it's okay to manipulate somebody if nobody's looking.
Okay, but like whether or not like I don't know, like in Marines, like yes, that's like good leadership, but like
What is? Manipulation?
I don't know, like I mean something like all manipulation, like
Something like what?
people might call like Marines leadership style manipulation if they don't like the Marines, right? So,
Okay, let's get into it with an example. Who does not like manual labor?
So depends.
Okay, thank you. All right. Boom. What's your first name?
Patrick.
What is it?
Patrick.
Patrick. Okay, Patrick, go dig a ditch. You gonna do it?
Probably not.
Probably not. If I tell you to go dig a ditch, Kelsey, right? You gonna do it?
And that's why.
Oh my God. Walked right into it like a 2x4. Okay. Now, you don't want to do it. Okay, fair. You're gonna ask why. Okay, what if I said, Patrick, go dig a ditch? He says no. I said, all right, Patrick, if you dig this ditch right here, that village down there is gonna have running water for the first time ever. And you will be a huge hero to them. It's gonna take a little work. You willing to do it?
I think that's, yeah.
You're in. Just like that. Is that manipulation? Is it?
Are you
How?
telling the truth?
Why? Huh?
Are you telling the truth about the village?
Yes. Yeah, I'm being honest, 100% honest. Okay? I told him the reason he needed to do it.
If you're getting into the connotation of like the word manipulation, it kind of sounds negative. So you might say, yeah, you persuaded him.
I don't think manipulation as
Okay,
like,
persuasion. What's the difference?
I don't think it's a negative connotation. I think it's just changing someone's opinion. That can be through negative connotations or positive. I'd like to
Okay,
think in this
okay.
situation, it's more of you're just getting them to do something, whether they wanted to or not.
Okay, Keelan, what'd you have?
I was gonna say, you said something that manipulated the thought process.
I manipulated their thought process? Did I manipulate his thought process, or did I just tell him why?
You told him something, but it then caused him to change how he thinks.
Okay, was that manipulation? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it bad?
No.
Okay. But we're splitting hairs a little bit, right? What'd you have? Get your hand up.
I was gonna say it being manipulation, just going for your cause and not, something bigger.
What do you mean? So it's only manipulation if I'm getting you to do something that's
That would be for you and not benefit anyone else.
okay. So the manipulation would be if it's just benefiting me and not others. Okay. All right. Freddie?
I think of anything as in if I didn't personally choose to do this without any outside help, it is some form of manipulation, whether that be like pressure, inspiration, some sort of influence on it. Because manipulation is not good or bad, it's making someone change their original opinion.
Yeah.
Manipulation.
Right. How many saw the word manipulation and thought it was a bad thing? Is it? Can be. If I manipulate you to do something stupid. Right? Okay? Dig a ditch so you can bury yourself in it. That's probably manipulation. Right? Not any different than getting them to dig the ditch to help the village. Okay? How many of you, freshman year, 1,000 years ago, when you were a fish, and you're getting tore up, right? How many of you were like, why are you doing this to me? I'm a nice person. Why are you yelling at me? Right? Did you think that? Alexis? Yeah, it sucked, didn't it? Okay? Did you ask why they were yelling at you? No, why not? Why didn't Kellen, you shook your head? Why not?
It wouldn't have changed anything, they still would have yelled.
Okay? I honestly wish to God somebody would do this, right? Especially, why are you yelling at me? Okay? That happened at basic training. It didn't go well, but it was hilarious. Okay? Right? It was super funny for a minute, and then it was not funny real fast. Okay? Fair enough. But in the real world, because look, just yelling at people, that's not leadership. Right? If you heard me before, I talked about Jocko Willing, former Navy SEAL, right? Super badass. He will tell you the lowest form of effective leadership is just being the guy who's yelling at everybody. Right? Remember when you got here freshman year and you stand there, attention, everybody's yelling, right? And you're just like, oh, no, here they go. They're just going to yell. Why? Why'd you think that?
Because it became ineffective.
It wore off, right? At first you were scared shitless, okay? You're like, I'm a nice person, right? Where are you from? You're like, I'm from right down the road. I'm an Aggie. I paid money to come here. Quit yelling at me, right? Okay, but you knew you had to take it. So you put up with it. And then after a while, you're just like, meh, all good. Boring. It's the least effective communication in the real world, wherever you work. Marine Corps, I don't care. Civilian, nonprofit. You're a teacher. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna add on, I think it's with parenting too.
100%, right? The reason it hurt more when your parents said, I'm disappointed, right? That is way more effective than yelling at you. Okay? What's far more effective and what you have to do now is explain why. For everyone. If I tell you to do something, you want to know why. If you ask your underclassmen to do something, think back on your sophomores, really they wanted to know why. Okay? Same thing with any organization. You guys you're gonna get jobs, most of you, okay? and go work and be successful. And sometimes you may be like, why? Why do I have to do this? Right? And it's okay to ask most of the time. Right? But as a leader, you need to be able to explain why. If you can't clearly explain why, they're not going to do it. Or they're going to do it and it's not going to be good for anybody, right? Okay. Questions on that? Good stuff. True or false? Old Army is dead.
Well,
False.
Old Army is it's a concept.
Love having Tyler in class. What's your concept of Old Army, Tyler?
Well, it's the past. That's what Old Army. That's what it means. The
When
past.
did Old Army die?
Last year. Back in 17,
When?
18, whatever.
Year 2. That's when Old Army died. That's my favorite answer. Okay, as soon as we moved out of the tents. Is Old Army dead?
It always dies the year before, the year after you.
I asked the juniors this morning, and I had a guy. He said, yes. I said, when did it die? He said, my freshman year. That's what everybody says. It was better before, man. It was awesome. Okay. Do you guys know that every land grant had a Corps of Cadets? Do you know why there are so few left?
Old Army died.
Huh?
Old Army died.
Students died. Things were bad. Look, how many of you guys came here for some of that hazing, good time memory stuff? Yes. Fair. All right? Why did it go away?
Not everybody else did.
Huh? People died. What else?
Because not everybody else did.
Not everybody else liked it. Okay? And you guys are like, well, we'll just do it a little bit. It'll be fine. No, we will always cross the line. How many of you have done stupid shit with your friends and thought, oh my God, we could have died? This is what's wrong with you. And you're not alone. This is every generation ever. Okay? Everyone. That's why Old Army died when they moved out of tents in year 2. Okay? Because we can't draw a line. The Corps of Cadets was 2.0 GPA. Wild West. Right? Part of you like, some of you, Brandon's in there like, yeah, man, I'm in. Right? Okay? They would have eaten you alive with your short ass. Okay? I'm only 5'10", that's why I can pick on you. When I was 16, I was 5 feet tall. I got pulled over by the cops because he thought I was not old enough to drive. No joke. Okay? I was still growing in college. Got hope for you, buddy. Okay? Keelan too. Okay? Tall guys, screw you guys. Okay? Hit your head on things. Right? It's great. Okay, where were we going? I lost my train of thought altogether with that. Okay. Okay. You guys still PT? Still live in the dorms?
Yep.
Still do marching?
Yep.
Still have the band? Still got shitty food?
Yep. Except for lunches.
Is the experience that different?
I would say yes.
Why?
Because there's more information available.
What do you mean?
Like one of the differences I recall was not knowing what was going on, and now everything's laid out in an organized manner, so that there's no sort of surprise or unknown.
Okay. Is it better or worse?
Probably better for the freshmen.
Probably. Brendan? Is it? I don't remember. Is it different experience? Is it that different of experience?
Yes, I would say so.
Why?
Several of the training options that were available in the past are now banned, and we can see it throughout the year. This year, we got running bans. This year, we got told we can't run it indoors. I'm not saying Old Army died this year, but these restrictions weren't here in what could be defined as Old Army. Significantly different experience from stories that I've heard from Old Age, from what they do from Old Age, traditions that don't even exist anymore.
Yes. Some of those, if we're being honest, some of those traditions needed to die, right? Freddie? Okay, fair enough. You can argue that, right? I was not in the Corps, but I have friends that are. They're my age, older. I met a lot of old Ags. Okay? God love them. Okay? The stories, some of them are great. But they'll even tell you. They were like, some of the shit we did was not good. There were people that left that never recovered. What did we do freshman year? We kind of beat you down, right? There's people who punched and never really recovered from that. Because we build you back up at the end, right? Okay? So the problem is the line of where to draw it. The experiences really are not terribly different. You guys, honest to goodness, you guys can create any of those memories without hurting people. There's a million things you guys can do that's still fun, that's still obnoxious, that's still what young 20-year-olds do. Okay? Without hopefully hurting anybody. okay, or actually hazing them. You guys can get a lot more creative because you have all the information in the world, right? So you can recreate it, but it's up to you guys to do it ethically, right? Maybe. We'll think about it, okay? We'll spend some more time on that. I'll actually come back to that. All right, are you able to assess yourself accurately?
No.
No, why?
I always assess myself in a more negative light.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Some of you guys are hard on yourself. What else? Yes, sir.
Sometimes you might assess yourself as more positive.
Yeah, sometimes you think you did a really good job, huh? You ever told some people to do something, they did a shitty job, and you're like, not my fault, right? Was that good leadership? Hard to tell. What else? Yes, sir.
You're only able to see your point of view, not what others look, think of you or how,
Yes, accurate. Yes, sir.
Say sometimes like you don't recognize problems that you might have or things that other people notice easily.
Yeah, it's really hard to assess yourself accurately. Okay, one of the best things you can do: ask people. Ask other people in your outfit that don't like you. How about other outfits? Go ask them what they think of you. What's honest to goodness? Do this. Go ahead. If you know somebody kind of doesn't like you, be like, "Hey man, what do you think of me?" Watch them. What? Why? What do you? Watch them squirm. Be like, "Oh, I'm just trying to work on me." Watch what happens. See if they tell you the truth. They probably won't. All right? It's really fun. Should you question leadership?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you do that fish year? Did you? How'd it go? Not good? Did you?
Just made me angry.
Made you mad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah? Michael?
My bad class popped up a lot of trash on that.
Yeah, that's natural. You guys all do that behind the backs. But did you ever do it like right when it was happening? Did you ever say, why are we doing this? Did you, Keenan? How'd it go? You didn't do it. Oh, I thought you said yeah. Okay. Why not?
Make the situation worse.
Might make it worse. Okay. Are you just gonna do that the rest of your life? Are you gonna sit there and take it? Should you question leadership? Yeah. Okay. Should you question leadership if you're going into a firefight?
Why not?
Hell yeah, you should. What are you getting into? Who's the target? What's behind the target? Who's shooting at us? What environment are we in? You should absolutely ask those questions. The more serious it is, the more you should ask questions. Life or death situations, you should be questioning what the hell you're doing, why you're doing it. Okay? So why wouldn't you do that in other situations when it comes to your livelihood, right? Or your job, or your family. Right? Now, is there a right and wrong way to question leadership? Yeah. Okay. You tell fish, give me a campo, and they say, well, why? How's that going to go? You're not putting up with that, right? Okay. Teaching moment. Right? Don't be afraid to question leadership. Most people don't. Most people are uncomfortable doing it. Don't be afraid. Okay? Are you a good leader? No? Tyler, love it. Who else? Kellen?
I think I have my flaws.
Okay. What else? How many of you think you're pretty good and you're just trying to be humble right now and not be like, I'm really a good leader? Yes, honesty. I love it. This is like a core issue. I think you guys are smart enough to know how to answer this question. What are you going to say if this is a job interview? Huh? Yes? Okay. What are you going to say? Are you a good leader?
Someone asked me at a job interview, I'd probably use
I'm asking you. This is a job interview. Are you a good leader?
Yes,
Why?
because of the experiences of leading other individuals, and trying to create ethical, yeah, I guess when you ask, it's a little more difficult to say.
Yes, it is because you haven't thought of it, or you haven't practiced, or you haven't worked on it. Okay? That's the advantages we have here. Yes, you get to practice right in the living laboratory in the Corps Cadets. Yes, I'm a good leader. I spent 4 years in the Corps Cadets, which is not a military organization. In fact, 60% of us do not join the military. Yet, we still put ourselves through a rigorous physical training routine. We have the opportunity to lead others. We study, we learn from upperclassmen, we lead underclassmen, all in an experience that helped me become a more effective leader. So, good answer? Write that down. Use that. Okay? That is absolutely what you guys can do. Who's been to a road game, right? Football game? And they thanked you for your service? They have no clue you're not going to the military. If you've never seen Mike Leach go off about the Corps Cadets, hilarious video. Don't take it personally, it's really funny. Mike Leach is a football coach at Mississippi State. He was at Texas Tech, and the dude is hilarious and strange and funny. And there's a whole rant about the Corps Cadets. They're not in the military. So he likes pirates. He's like, I could have a Corps of pirates. We could just have a bunch of pirates. Right? It's really funny. Watch it. Okay, on YouTube. Right? So, how'd you develop your leadership style? Trial and error. Good. What else? Yes, sir.
Imitating others.
Copying others. Yeah. How many of you couldn't wait to be sophomores just to light people up? Yeah, I'm Brandon, my man. Okay, going in the right organization. How many of you just copied the sophomores? How many of you just did exactly what they did? Was it your natural leadership style? You don't even like to yell, do you, Freddie? Yeah, but you did it anyway, huh? Yeah, okay. Again, the more subtle, that would be even better, right? The one that really should freak you out is the one who didn't yell. Okay, that's the head you should be scared of, right? Okay. We started splitting hairs about leadership, right? And whether it's ethical or effective, all that good stuff, okay? What is your ethical philosophy? You touched on this last week. Brandon, what do you got?
Ethical philosophy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you just like kind of explain what that
This is a hard question.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm putting you all on the spot. This is what we're going to work on. Okay? As I touched on earlier, this is the hard stuff to do. To actually describe what your philosophy is in ethics. Okay? We're going to get into that. All right? You need to figure out if your ethics match others or not. You're going to find, guys going to the Marine Corps as an example, you're going to find there are Marines that are pieces of shit. And it's going to suck. You can be like, why, dude? You're joining the world's greatest fighting power, right? Not the smartest. That's the Air Force. Okay? But you're going to, why is there sexual harassment training in the Corps Cadets? Because it happens. Right? Same thing in the military. We get it all the time. Why? Because people suck and they screw up. Right? So you need to figure out if they match. It's wherever you work. Civilian world, military, whatever. Right? You need to see if it matches. All right? Who you are when nobody's looking. Your ethics match your actions. Dropping the ice cream cone. Some of you cringed when I brought up the fact that mom saw you do it, right? Okay? Do they match? All right? Do the actions of others match their ethics? If somebody in the Corps is smoking weed when they know they're not supposed to, do those actions match their ethics? That's what you have to figure out, okay? We're going to work on all that. We're going to get into this, okay? Why do companies interview you? This is the real world part. What?
So that they can know who they're trying to hire.
Yeah, okay, but why? Oh, I saw your resume. Keelan?
qualify and if you think the atmosphere.
Yeah, we want to know if Keelan's a piece of shit or not. He's a good dude. Brandon?
I was gonna say you can put all kinds of things on a resume that sound great, but a lot of jobs require good people skills in relation with others. And there are some brainiacs who you put them around other people and it's not sure what.
Absolutely. Does anybody here want to be a veterinarian? Okay, I just used an example at A&M because they take 250 students, but they interview the final 500. Because if they just took the top GPAs, a lot of those people got out of people medicine to go into animal medicine because they don't like people. What does every animal have? An owner. you still have to deal with people. You got to hire people, okay? You got to fire people, all that stuff. They want to know if you fit. If it was just based on Freddie's 4.0 in nuclear engineering, he should get a job anywhere he wants, right? No, we're not sure if we like Freddie. Now, I like Freddie, but they don't know that, okay? We want to see if he fits, all right? So that's why they ask you questions. That's why you should be prepared to answer them. If they ask you, what is something that was a challenge for you and how did you overcome it? Which every interview will have. Some variation of what's something you dealt with that was an obstacle and how did you deal with it. The reason they're asking you that is to see how you dealt with it. They're trying to figure out your ethics, all right? Who is terrified to meet people's parents when you're dating somebody? Yeah, why?
Well, because I didn't know like anything about them. I don't know how they approach me or anything, so I'm not nervous for the uncertainty.
Okay, cool. Who else? Yeah? Okay. Who is like confident meeting people's parents? Nice. Okay, so yeah, girl's distinct advantage. Okay. But don't think for a minute that mom isn't judging y'all. That you mess with my baby boy, right? Okay? They'll cut you. Okay? I've always played well in the living room, all right? It's very small, non-threatening, right? Okay? And I was social, so I get to know them. How you doing? Ask them about their jobs. Get to know them, right? BS with them. Not a problem. Okay? I go to pick this girl up. I never met her dad before. I just know that he's a legendary football coach at a smaller college, an NAIA college. And this dude's a certified badass, right? Okay? And he's like nationally known in football circles as a really good coach. Okay? So I pull up, right? It's a summer day. He's out there in the yard working with the weed whacker, all that stuff. I go up. I'm like, man, no problem. Met parents before. I'm always good. And I go to shake his hand, and he just sticks out his arm because he was born without hands. He's out there with the weed whacker. I didn't even notice. I had no idea. I just held that sweaty arm and looked him right in the eyeballs. How are you, sir? Right? There's nothing to prepare you for that. You better figure out how to deal with that. Okay? And it went fine. We were good. By the way, dude could throw a spiral like 50 yards. Okay? Take his arms, wing. And he got called for holding one time in high school. Right? Ran up to the refs and went like this. Hilarious. Okay? Super good dude. When the parents are meeting you, they're judging you. Right? They're trying to figure you out. Okay? Senior boots. Why you taking my daughter to a game? Right? They know what's going on. Okay? All right. Same thing. We'll wrap up here quickly here. If you're getting a job interview and they take you golfing, right? Who plays golf? Okay, cool. A little bit. All right. If they do something else, if they take you to happy hour, right? Any accountants, finance people? Deloitte and Touche? Deloitte is notorious for this. They will take college students out and spend a boatload of money on them, right? They want to know how you act. If they take you golfing, it's to see if you cheat. All that is trying to figure out your ethics. They want to know, because if you do that on a job interview before I've even hired you, you're probably going to suck when we hire you. And you're going to cheat and cut corners. Right? That's why they're doing that stuff. Okay? This week's assignment is posted already, due Monday. It's a discussion post. You have to reply to a couple others. Right? So don't forget to go back and do that. It's rather straightforward. It's pretty easy. Get the book, because we'll start getting into that. I will not be reachable from Thursday night on. I'm going hunting, and I have no cell coverage, right? So if you have questions for me, hit me up soon. But again, you guys will do fine. It's all in eCampus. Cool? Questions for me? Yes, sir. Where? I'll tell you next week. I'm telling you now, and I want you to follow me. Yes, sir. Yes, I will.